presidential aide. But just before we bring him on to take a look at some of the issues we have outlined earlier, we understand that the defense of Nnamdi Kanu at the Federal High Court is currently ongoing. Crew sent us some visuals from earlier on. We understand that Mr. Kanu says he will be representing himself as his own lawyer. Don't forget that Mr. Aloy Ejimakor was arrested alongside Nnamdi Kanu's brother on Monday during the protest organized by the Take It Back movement. So this morning, Mr. Kanu says he'll be representing himself as his own lawyer, opening his defense in the ongoing terrorism trial against him. The development is after his lead counsel, Kanu Agabi, alongside other senior advocates in his legal team, withdrew their legal representation. Mr. Kanu also refused a lawyer to be provided to him by the court when trial judge Justice James Omotosho offered the same. So that's news we're getting out of the court this morning, that Nnamdi Kanu is representing himself. His lawyers have withdrawn, and we also know that one of them was also detained by the police. But these are visuals that were sent in this morning. These visuals are from the court of law. You know that cameras are not allowed in the court of law, so we cannot say these are live because they're not. In any case, a trial is underway. So this was prior to the trial resuming at the court. And we also understand that he wants to call 23 witnesses, amongst them the former Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, SAN, as well as the current Minister of FCT, Wike, the Minister of Works, Dave Umahi, and former Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai. Well, I don't know what you make of this, Mr. Akonde. I mean, 23 witnesses asking for a period of 90 days. Do you think, what do you think we should be expecting from your own estimation? Well,
I think it is clear that Mr. Kanu is not interested in pursuing this case.
Why do you say so?
Oh, clearly, because, you know, the behavior and the conduct of himself and his lawyers, you know, after they have said that we want a prompt trial, you know, and you have a judge who is clearly ready to do the right thing, and then this is what you are working out, you want to represent yourself, you know, that tells me that he's not interested in pursuing the case in court. He's interested in a political solution. And that does have a bit of credit here, you know, because of course we see some other things that are happening in this country. There are people who have behaved like Kanu, and their cases were settled in a political way. So I guess that is what he's more interested in. And my own argument...
That's speculation.
Yes, yeah, actually that's what I believe. Because if you look at the whole, you know, the trajectory of the case, part of the reason why it has taken this long is also because of some of these shenanigans on both sides, on the side of the government prosecuting him and on his own side, you know, changing lawyers back and forth, you know. So I think that we need to explore the political solution, not because I don't believe that Kanu should get his day in court, but clearly this matter is being drawn out, you know. And I think for the sake of our national cohesion, you know, we need to, you know, take another look at solving this matter politically. So if you have lawyers like Kanu Agabi, you know, senior advocate of Nigeria, respectable lawyer, you know, choosing to also walk out, then it's giving the whole case a very bad impression. Okay. You know, so I don't know how you know, government will deal with this, but it's clear to anybody that Kanu is interested in a political solution. They don't want to go forward with this case in court. That's my view. Well,
we'll see how that matter, you know, proceeds in court. I mean, there have been quite a number of developments in recent times. You saw the protests that happened on Monday and the measures by the government of the day to make sure that it didn't happen close to certain areas of the Federal Capital Territory. The police said they had an injunction, preventing protesters from getting to a particular area. People were very cautious. A lot of small businesses did not open on Monday. Civil servants could barely get to work because roads leading to the headquarters of Federal Civil were cordoned off. So, and some people say, look, this is also on the back of developments we've heard in recent times. It's been spoken in whispers about a coup that never took place. But we know that on October 1, for instance, the ceremonies that were supposed to have attended our independence Day celebrations didn't happen. A very strong reason wasn't given for it. But then we heard much later that, some people were arrested, some soldiers were arrested in connection with something else. That's what the military authorities tell us. But some sections of the media have reported quite authoritatively that they heard that these people were arrested in connection with the coup. What are we to make of some of this? Are there any connections here and there that you can draw?
Well, okay, let me quickly first make a point about the protest. I think the response of the federal government security agencies on Monday was an overkill. If you look at what happened and how they disrupted activities in the FCT, it was more a case of the government security agencies preventing people from going about their regular businesses, because look,
that's for those who came out, because as I did say, some people were also cautious. They didn't come out.
That's the point, because people were prevented. I mean, I was trying to get into Transcorp around 3 o'clock when this demonstration had dissipated completely, and there were still roadblocks all over the place. So I think that it was an overkill, and I think we still need to get some protocol. I think the police authorities, our security agencies, and civil society NGOs need to sit down and agree on a protocol for protest. It is done everywhere. We shouldn't be doing all this hide and seek. We should understand that people have a right to protest, without disturbing, the regular business of the day for people who don't want to protest. We need to have that conversation and have those protocols. Now, on the issue of the allegations around the coup, we have, like you said, we have serious news media, reporting that something is going on. Number two, the military itself has said that they are detaining senior officers, including, as we have been told, a brigadier general and others. About 16, some reports say 16, some say 20. Now, that doesn't happen regularly. So, people are entitled to some informed speculation. But what I want to say is that if it is true that there was an attempt to have a coup, then we must commend the military intelligence for nipping it in the bud, and we must commend the leadership of the military for taking care of that. The second point that I would like to make is that those who are opposed to the Tinubu administration, or those who have our current civilian leaders, they should go and fight them in the polls. We don't want a coup to be used to settle our political differences anymore. If you don't like what the president is doing, if you feel that he's going in a direction that is not in the interest of our country, don't do a coup. Don't go and support a coup. Don't clamor for a coup. Don't embrace a coup. Go to the polls. If you're a politician, go and defeat Tinubu at the polls. If you're a Nigerian, go and register to vote. This is how we ought to do it. We must raise our voices loud and clear against military incursion in politics.
Well, what do you make, though, of calls for transparency? Some people say, I saw the post of Bolaji Abdullahi, who is a member of the ADC, asking for, clarity on this, transparency on this, because they are afraid that this might be used to hunt down political opponents, so to speak.
Yeah, well, so I think also that it is useful if the military can give us more information and not try to deny some of the things. The military itself has said that we have arrested people. Yeah,
but they have come out vehemently to say that they never said there was a coup, or a coup attempt, that they arrested those people in connection with indiscipline and other military transgressions.
My whole issues with those reasons is that they are very weak. They don't sound strong enough to go and arrest a brigadier general because of that. It's very, very weak. And I think that our military people ought to do better than that in terms of the kind of information that you put out to the press. But I'm sure that what they are trying to do is they don't want to raise the tension. They don't want to create a credibility crisis for the current political leaders, because if you come out and say, yes, there has been a coup, you know, that creates a credibility crisis for the president, for the governors, for all the civilian leaders that are elected. And like I said, we shouldn't, all of us as a people, we should make a very loud and clear position: no, no, no to coups.
Okay, well, the Senate is making sure that when we do go to the polls, that we are satisfied with the rules that guide the polls. They have recently said they're going to be looking at mandatory transmission of mandatory electronic transmission of results, and also that the burden of proof should move to INEC instead of the litigant. Do you think that will work?
Well, I am excited with the idea of electronic transmission, because that was what Professor Yakubu promised us, you know, and he couldn't deliver. And he didn't even have the courtesy to explain to us until he left what happened. Just say it's a glitch. So if we are moving in the direction of fixing that, to say that, look, when the election is held in a polling unit, it is electronically transmitted. That takes off the discretion of people who do all those things that we see, blotting out numbers, changing stuff, and it's a big deal. Now, this other issue of the burden of proof, lawyers are the ones that, you know, can explain better to us. But if it means that INEC should be able to defend what it has done, then it seems to be something that's also exciting.
Okay, we'll keep tabs on it. We have to thank you very much for sharing your thoughts with us as always. Mr. Laolu Akonde is the presenter of Channel Television's Inside Sources. You can catch it on Fridays and on Sundays as well. And he's also a former presidential aide. Thank you once more.
Thanks so much.
Defense today, regardless of whatever has happened during the week, he's called a number of witnesses. We understand that he's calling about 23 witnesses. They include the former Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami. He's also called some other very prominent names. He's called former Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai. He's also called the current Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Mr. Nyesom Wike, as well as the current Minister of Works, Engineer Dave Umahi. Now, how that is going to go is unclear, but we understand he's also asking for a period of about 9 months, 90-day period in which time to conclude his defense. So he's asking for 3 months, in essence, to be able to run through his defense. But we'll bring you a timeline of what his ordeal has been like. He was arrested on the 14th of October in 2015. So this has been on for a period of 10 years now, if you're to look at 2015 to 2025. And right now we're in the month of October. He was arrested by the Department of State Services in Lagos on charges including terrorism and treasonable felony. He was arraigned before an Abuja magistrate court on charges of criminal conspiracy, intimidation, and membership in an unlawful society. His case was later transferred to the Federal High Court for treasonable felony. Don't forget that IPOB, the organization which Nnamdi Kanu leads, was proscribed by the administration of Muhammadu Buhari. You also have that in 2017, a federal high court in Abuja granted him bail on health grounds, requiring 100 million naira bond and imposing strict conditions such as refraining from interviews and public gatherings. He fulfilled his bail conditions and was released from Kuje prison. Some reports note that the release was completed between April 28 and 2029. And in 2017, August 2017, the federal government filed a motion seeking to revoke his bail, citing alleged violations of the court's conditions. In September that same year, the Nigerian military conducted an operation at his home in Umuahia, where he went missing. His lawyers claimed that he fled for safety while the government accused him of jumping bail. Well, in 2022, February 2022, the Kenyan government filed an affidavit confirming that Kanu entered Kenya on May 12, 2021 as a British citizen and that there was no official record of his departure. This strengthened claims that he was unlawfully renditioned to Nigeria. Kenyan High Court ruled that Kanu's arrest and transfer from Kenya to Nigeria in 2021 were unlawful and violated his fundamental human rights. The court awarded him damages while the judgment was delivered on the 24th of June and was widely reported as the official date of the ruling's release. Well, in December 15, 2023, the Supreme Court of Nigeria overturned a Court of Appeal judgment that had acquitted him and struck out terrorism-related charges. The Apex Court reinstated the charges and ordered his trial to continue. That is the basis upon which the federal government has continued the trial of Nnamdi Kanu. Don't forget that Nnamdi Kanu's lawyers have always argued that a Court of Appeal let him go, but that judgment was never fulfilled. Well, it does appear that the Supreme Court overturned that appeal and asked him to continue to face trial. Well, in 2025 this year, the Federal High Court in Abuja ordered that Mr. Kanu be brought to court for his resumed trial on February 10, confirming that he remained in DSS custody since his rendition in 2021. And the trial has since then resumed before Justice James Omotosho at the Federal High Court in Abuja. Mr. Kanu was rearraigned on 7 terrorism-related counts and pleaded not guilty. In September this year, the court advanced the date for hearing Kanu's application seeking release or improved medical access to September 26 in response to his concerns about his health. And in October 16 this year, just last week, the NMA filed a report certifying Mr. Kanu as medically fit. The court denied his request for a transfer to a hospital, adjourned proceedings to October 23 for the defense to open, and set October 30 as the deadline for the defense to close. Trial sessions have been scheduled for October 23, that's today, October 27, that will be Monday, 28, 29, and 30. Well, Mr. Kanu remains in custody. His trial is ongoing. And of course, you know that this Monday this week, there were public demonstrations.
see bros now, don't tell me.